Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. When you look at this circuit, and what can NASCAR take and impart as they look maybe elsewhere to do street racing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that this is certainly a well-designed street race. Obviously, you have some really great passing zones. That's the most important thing. Is it's one thing to try kind of parade around a city. It's another to actually have a racetrack that you can race at and pass at. And while there's parts of it on the back end of the racetrack where it gets very tight, yes, there need to be one lane. There's at least 3 to 4 big, heavy braking passing zones. And so what I like about it is you've got, you're in a big city, one of the biggest in the U.S. You've got a very racy racetrack, and you got a beautiful backdrop. So it's just, those are the things that I think are very important to building a street race. And obviously anywhere they look going forward, hopefully has all the things that Chicago has brought.
All right, Bob.
Bob Parkhurst, Fox Sports. With your 2311 ties to Michael Jordan, would you miss this race more than maybe other teams, you and 2311 as a whole?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think that, we do a lot of activation here in this city as a race team, independent, from, NASCAR ties. We'll have our partner kind of celebration over at the Yacht Club here later this afternoon. Jordan Brand's going to have their event downtown. So we have quite a bit of activation that we do here in the city. That is important to us, and it's important to the partners that we have. This is a big spot for McDonald's, obviously a really big spot for the Jordan brand, and several other ones that, this is a big market for them that they like to be included in. That's why we've got 4 cars, one with Corey Haim and Robin Hood. This was a big market for them that they needed to be in, so that's why we've got the activation that we do.
All right, Jerry, go ahead, and then we'll go to Jeff.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. 2 real quick. Denny, Ty was in here a while ago and was talking about how you get it. You embrace the bad guy role, but the banter that went out on last week.
Which Ty?
Dylan.
Okay.
Yeah, talking about, he beat you, and this, the way it played out on your show, and then later on all the social media that he got for it. Talk a little bit about boosting the sport and the driver, that rivalry type atmosphere, and how important it is for you guys and for the drivers as a whole.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that the in-season tournament was meant to do, right, is to create a rivalry that maybe you wouldn't think of. And it's, while that rivalry may only last 1 week, the social media content, will live on forever for it. So I think that's the key parts of why they're doing the in-season tournament and why it is important. And hopefully you have another one of those battles this weekend of, the 8 matchups that you've got some pretty compelling head-to-heads there that I think are going to be pretty close. And I can't wait to see this end up on an oval, but unfortunately by the time we get to an oval, there's going to be so few matchups left. Maybe that'll allow them to focus more on those. But yeah, I think it's super compelling. So I don't know. I think it's certainly good. It's good for people like Ty Dillon to celebrate when they knock a number 1 seed out. That's good for their team. Good for him, and certainly well deserving. So regardless of the track type or the circumstances, it's still something that team and that driver that came in as the last seed can hang their hat on, at least for a week.
And follow up on this track, you talk about how important it is for you.
You're breaking up.
Yeah, no, the mics are.
Okay.
No. But you talked about how important it is for you here, but where would you like to see this race go if it doesn't come back, since this is supposedly the final year?
I mean, I personally would like to see them do everything they can to keep it here. I'd like to see the city, rally behind this race. I can just tell you that non-racing fans at the hotel I'm staying at are talking about the race, and so I think that it's certainly got some sort of economical impact to the city itself. We're certainly exposing some new fans to this. I think it's very important. So I think you try everything you can to get this thing back here in Chicago, because I believe it is an important place for us. I still would like to see, Chicagoland is not a substitute for this race. I'd like to see us run both, but I don't know where you go next. Not really sure. Wild thought is what about a street oval? What about one that if all you need is just flat pavement to make a racetrack, then we run a flat Clash, right? It's at a flat track, and we kind of make it work. So I get it, though. There's so many things to that. I've never put on a race, so I wouldn't know. But there's a lot of hospitality and stuff around this track that you need miles to expand it to. But I'm not sure of the right place. I just know that it seems like it works here.
All right, we will continue with questions. We'll go to Jeff, right there.
How do you think a street oval would work? Like, are you talking about something with long straightaways and then 4 corners sort of around, like 4 street course type corners, or except wider?
I mean, yeah, look at the layout of this track. If you just cut half of it off, you almost would have an Indy type oval. It wouldn't be an oval, but it would be 4 corners, right?
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if the race becomes that more compelling, but it certainly would become less spread out. I'm just saying, surely you can find streets somewhere where you kind of connect the 4 corners, and I get there's so many different things. It's just thought-provoking from my standpoint of like, yeah, but we haven't tried that. What about that?
All right.
All we need is acceleration, heavy braking points, and turns, and we'll find a way to make a show out of that.
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire. You won the pole for the first race here. How stressful is a qualifying lap here given the lack of margin of error?
It is. You got to push it. I mean, you certainly have to be on edge of, your apexes, the wall. You have to use it up all the way, if you want to compete. So it is nerve-wracking. We've qualified well each of the races that we've run here. Certainly the rain has put a damper on some of those finishes, but overall it's pretty straightforward, other than the back half of the racetrack, where then you're running right up against the wall, tight confines. You're sliding it into the apexes that you can't miss by a foot here and there. It's pretty interesting. The good news is, though, you always get another shot. Where other racetracks, you get one opportunity, one lap to do it. Here, you're going to either run multiple laps one time, or you can run multiple times, multiple laps. So it's not like it's a do or die just in one lap. I think if you're going to get the pole, you must do it that way. But I don't know that. I think you can still get a good qualifying effort with multiple tries.
All right. Any final questions? Okay.
I haven't heard anyone else this morning say directly they think that NASCAR should stay in Chicago, in the city, continue with some version of this race. Do you get the feeling there's much of an appetite in agreement with you among drivers, teams, and NASCAR itself?
Well, I mean, what's the alternative? Until we know the alternative, I don't know whether one's better or worse than this. I just feel like this is a bigger event than what, one of the normal ovals that we go to, simply because of the atmosphere of where it's at, the exposure to new fans that are here casually in the city. I can only speak from my experiences and the casual people that, for instance, I go shopping yesterday. I go all these different stores. What are you in town for? Oh yeah, there's a race. We were talking about going to that. We didn't go last year because of rain, but like we're thinking about going this year. Like that's kind of what you want. These are younger people that they're not going to travel to Chicagoland to go to race. You have to have it right here where they can walk to it. So I don't know if anyone shares the same sentiment I do, but I don't run the series. I don't make the decisions, but it just seems like from my standpoint, there's more excitement around the venue itself than what a normal NASCAR race venue has.
All right, Lee, go ahead.
Not to be Debbie Downer, but I wanted to ask you about Bubba Wallace. In the last 8 races, he said 4 DNFs. He slid from 7th to 13th in the standings. How do you stop the bleeding, and what precautions is 2311 taking just to, lift its spirits and turn the season around before it gets way out of hand?
Yeah, I mean, he's still in the playoffs after all those DNFs. I don't know. You just can't panic in the situation that they're in. I think if we were struggling for speed on that 23 car, then there would be a more heightened sense of alertness to like what's going on. But a lot of these are just circumstances. Now, some of them are circumstances that we control. Some of the mechanicals we've controlled, some of them we have not. And others, it's just other people making mistakes in front of him and he's getting caught up right in the middle of it. So I just think you got to stay the course and not panic and hope things play out the way that they should. I think if things play out naturally, he is certainly one of the fastest cars that is on that bubble. So I'm not concerned about him racing his way in to the playoffs. There's a lot of talk about cut line moving and all that. I'm not really sure how much more it moves up. I mean, I don't know, these races are like super wild cards. These are pretty straightforward races where you know who you're going to race, you know who's going to be up front. And really, for the most part, we've had pretty predictable winners this season, aside from a few. So I think that, if he was 50 behind at this point, I still would feel okay about it. Not great, but okay about it. But him being ahead with all the bad luck he's had, I'm not too concerned, truthfully.
My Place Hotels is proud to be the official hotel partner of Front Stretch. With plush beds, in-room kitchens, and pet-friendly hotels, My Place makes for the perfect pit stop when traveling. Front Stretch fans can use promo code FRONTSTRETCH to save 10% on your stay at any of our nationwide properties. Sign up for our Stay Rewarded program to get even more savings. With My Place Hotels, don't just stay rewarded.
Jared Haas with FrenchStretch.com. Come back more for some great racing video content. And if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.